Now at 5, voters in Nevada, Missouri will decide a sales tax question next month. We'll find out what it would fund. Plus, a Joplin organization hosts an event connecting homeless people with necessary resources, and
President Biden meets with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House as negotiations surrounding a ceasefire in Gaza and a hostage release deal continue.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Nevada, Missouri is asking voters to decide a half-cent sales tax. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. The vote is set for the upcoming primary on August 6th. The revenue from the sales tax would generate approximately $1 million per year. It would be a permanent change and would fund a new aquatic center for the town, as well as increase the starting salaries for Nevada's police and fire departments. The city says their emergency responders are significantly underpaid compared to other cities in the area.
Well, and actually it would raise, yes, what it would be for our existing people is approximately a 13% raise for police and fire personnel. And that can also equate to 3 pay steps, if you will. But I just want to stress the tax is not a cure-all for all of our problems, but we definitely think it's a significant step in the right direction.
If passed, the sales tax would go into effect January 1st of 2025. The Vernon County Clerk's Office is hosting a forum for the 2024 sheriff's candidates. The forum will be at the Franklin P. Norman Community Center in Nevada. It's a chance for the public to meet and socialize with the candidates and participate in a formal question and answer discussion ahead of the August 6th election. Tonight's event will be from 6 to 7 p.m. The Economic Security Corporation in Joplin is connecting homeless people with helpful resources. The Project Homeless Connect event offers people a chance to get some food, get a haircut, and learn about job and health resources. Officials say the turnout was one of the largest they've ever seen, which serves as a reminder of the significant need in the community.
Try to alleviate some of the misery around homelessness and poverty, and we're here to try to provide services and help folks ultimately become housed, is the whole idea behind it, and get them the help that they need while they're in the process of doing it.
Economic Security Corporation also provides utility and housing assistance for residents in need. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with the first look at weather.
Well, and it turned out to be another hot one for us today. Temperatures right around 90 to about 91, 92 degrees across the region. Looking outside, it's 89 in Joplin. Pittsburgh is sitting at 91 degrees, 88 in Carthage, 92 Bella Vista. Bonita is sitting at 91. A little bit hotter once you get out across southeastern Kansas. Parsons, Independence, Chanute, Yates Center, all sitting mid to upper 90s. We do have a few cumulus clouds, and underneath those clouds, we are seeing a couple random little thunderstorms. You can see one little guy just south of Nevada, then a few more popping up over towards Stockton Lake. But most of you are going to stay dry as we go through the evening. We'll slide back through the 80s into the 70s, near 70 later on tonight. Rain chances, they do go up a little bit as we head into the weekend. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in the U.S. for the first time since President Biden took office. The two men met face-to-face at the White House this afternoon to discuss the war in Gaza. Skyler Henry has more details from the White House.
Pro-Palestinian protesters outside the White House held up an effigy of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, showing him with blood on his hands.
Right now, right behind us, President Biden is having a meeting. He's having a meeting with a war criminal.
Netanyahu arrived for his first face-to-face talks with President Biden since the October 7th attack and war in Gaza.
And I look forward to discussing with you today and working with you in the months ahead on the great issues before us.
Netanyahu and Biden are discussing the outline of a deal that would pause the fighting and see Hamas release Israeli hostages.
There are gaps that remain, and our team continues to work with our counterparts in the region to see if we can't close those gaps.
The two men also met with family members of American citizens still being held hostage in Gaza.
With President Biden's time in the White House nearing an end, Prime Minister Netanyahu is covering his bases, meeting with the Republican presidential nominee and the likely Democratic nominee.
Vice President Harris was not on hand for Netanyahu's address to Congress Wednesday, but she returned from the campaign trail Thursday to meet with him.
She's been a full partner in our policies in the Middle East, particularly with our policies towards Israel and the war in Gaza.
Former President Trump said Israel should wrap up the war quickly because of the bad publicity.
Got to get this done fast because the world is not taking lightly to it. It's really incredible. You know, October 7th would have never happened if I was president.
Netanyahu is going to Mar-a-Lago on Friday for a meeting with Trump. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Both Trump and Harris denounced protesters outside the Capitol yesterday who took down an American flag and burned it. Before her meeting with Israel's Prime Minister, Vice President Harris hit the campaign trail. She spoke today at a teachers' convention in Houston. It comes just a day after President Biden's address to the nation, where he said it's time to pass the torch, saying Vice President Harris is the clear choice to take the job. Still ahead, an improving economy.
The latest report on economic growth surprised even the experts. I'm Bradley Blackburn with a look at where consumers were spending their money this spring.
And next in Health Watch, you've probably gotten plenty of sun this summer, so we'll tell you the best ways to treat your skin when you get too much. Topping today's Health Watch, MIT scientists are learning more about how some brain cells and circuits become vulnerable to Alzheimer's disease. A new study compared the gene expression in brain regions of people with and without Alzheimer's. They found a protein called renin may protect against Alzheimer's. They also believe a nutrient found in many foods called choline, along with antioxidants, may play a role in maintaining brain resilience. Ultrafine particles in the air related to traffic pollution may negatively impact the function of mitochondria, making that pollution a potential major risk factor for diseases that affect the brain. That's a finding from a study at the University of Eastern Finland. They saw traffic-related particles affect mitochondria in human olfactory mucosa cells. And problems in those cells could be linked to Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Well, it is summer, time for swimming, fishing, and in some cases, burning. This time of year, it's easy to get too much sun. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield has more on the best way to treat that sunburn.
Amidst all the joy at the pool, there's also pain.
It hurts. It hurts. It's uncomfortable, and it starts to itch.
Painful, a rash.
And he knows overexposure. The pool is his office. And even though everyone here knows.
Do you guys wear sunscreen usually?
Yeah.
Accidents happen.
I thought you put on sunscreen when you were there.
I did. But we were there for like 5 hours.
Most people get sunscreen on once, but they forget to reapply every 1 to 2 hours.
Dr. Farhat is a busy dermatologist, and she's seen many a sunburn.
What's actually happening to our skin?
Anytime that your skin is turning red, that means that there's actual DNA damage that's occurring.
She says sunburns can range from redness to blisters that peel and even open sores.
So basically, you want to start treating right away.
I had to apply aloe and kind of that type of stuff to kind of ease the symptoms.
So aloe is definitely helpful for that soothing component. There is a soothing component to oatmeal baths, and so that would be what I would recommend.
Also surprising,
something like ibuprofen, Aleve, things like that are going to actually help sunburn, so help prevent some of that pain and redness, not just for the pain, but actually treating that underlying inflammation that's occurring. And so as soon as you realize you're starting to get sunburn, taking that right away is going to help prevent it from getting worse.
And allow for more fun. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, CBS News.
Well, dermatologists recommend using a sunscreen of SPF 30 or higher. Text messages could help doctors treat patients with heart problems. Researchers at Michigan Medicine found personalized text messages were effective at increasing physical activity for patients after a cardiac event like a heart attack. Exercise is known to help reduce the risk of having a second cardiovascular event. Scientists found reminder messages gave up to a 17% boost in step count, but the effect wore off after a month. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, the latest on 2 NASA astronauts stranded on the International Space Station.
And at least we have a few rain chances in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be another hot one across the region. Partly sunny skies for us today, and we have had a few isolated little thunderstorms that have popped up, but in general, looks pretty good. Partly to mostly sunny skies. A nice shot of our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, our tower cam just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, rain stats. We are behind for the year, but in July, we've done pretty well. We've had over 5 inches of rain, but for the year, we're about 3 3/4 of an inch behind. And of course, on Thursdays, our new drought tracker comes out, and it has dried up a little bit. We still have this little dry sector from southern Jasper, Newton County into Berry County, and then our far western counties have dried up a little bit. So we need a little bit of rain. We do have some rain in the forecast, but it's going to be very hit and miss as we go through the next couple days. 87 in Stockton, 90 in Anderson, Grand Lake 91. We have 94 in Chanute. Pittsburgh is sitting at 91 degrees. Our humidity has kind of creeped up a little bit over the past couple days. Dew points measuring how much moisture is at the surface, kind of 65 to about 70 degrees. So if we look at our tracker, that kind of puts us in that sticky to muggy range, and that's where we're going to sit as we go through the next few days. So of course that gives us a heat index, the way it actually feels to your skin. It's not extremely high, but a little bit higher than our actual temperatures. Low to mid 90s across the region. Through the evening hours, again, isolated thunderstorm. We'll slide back through the 80s, 70s, eventually 68, 69 degrees later on tonight. But most of us looking pretty good. You can see those cumulus clouds and a few random little pop-up thunderstorms across the region. In fact, one little guy out toward Howard and then just south of Fort Scott, Nevada, and then over toward Stockton Lake. Very hit and miss. These will disappear once we lose the heating of the day. Let's drop south. You can see the wind barbs all over the place. This is a weak little tropical wave, and some of this moisture will head toward us over the next couple days. Let me walk you through time. Tonight, pretty quiet. Drop back 69, 70 degrees. As we go through the morning hours, we'll stop at the noon hour. Most of us mid-80s, partly sunny skies. And then again in the afternoon, near 90, but those hit and miss isolated little thunderstorms once again, especially along the north of Interstate 44. Anything that does pop up will disappear once we lose the heating of the day. So once the sun sets, then as we go into Saturday morning, we start near 70, heat up again, mid to upper 80s. But again, we're going to have pop-up scattered thunderstorms once again on Saturday afternoon. Not a rain out, just hit and miss little guys as we go into the weekend. Day planner for you tomorrow, 71 in the morning, 87 by noon, 89 by 4. Isolated thunderstorms will go for a high temperature right around 91 degrees. And any rain we do see on Saturday is out of here on Sunday, and our temperatures will start to heat up as we go into early next week. All right, 91 for us tomorrow, 86, a little bit cooler for the weekend, 93 on Sunday. Then 97 Monday, 99 Tuesday, near 100 degrees for the second half of next week. So August 1st is what, Thursday? Right on schedule.
Well, and you're talking about these random storms. I think I felt 2 sprinkles on me this morning around 11 o'clock and then nothing.
It's better than none, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't too hot though, so
yeah, it's not too
I'll
bad.
Enjoy it this week. Next week, you know,
It's kind of crazy.
All right, thanks, Doug.
You bet.
Well, 2 NASA astronauts who traveled to the International Space Station on the Boeing Starliner capsule do not have a return flight date yet. Mark Strassman has the latest on the mission from Houston.
Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams were supposed to stay on the space station for 8 days. Today is day 50 because of ongoing unresolved issues with their Starliner capsule. Today, Boeing and NASA updated us all on the mission. They said there is still no return date for those 2 astronauts. They are continuing to work through issues, particularly an issue with maneuvering engines that conked out on the crew's original approach to the ISS. And the goal still is to return these astronauts on the same Starliner capsule that brought them to the space station.
We kept saying 8-day minimum mission. I think we all knew that it was going to go longer than that. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about how much longer, but I think it's my regret that we didn't just say we're going to stay up there until we get everything done that we want to go do.
This is day 50, and it looks as though the crew will stay at least through their 8th week in space. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Houston.
Well, coming up, a new report shows the rich keep getting richer. We're going to tell you by how much. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the super rich are getting even richer by leaps and bounds. According to a new analysis by Oxfam International, the top 1% globally has seen its wealth soar by $42 trillion over the past decade. That's almost 34 times more than the bottom half of the world's population. The average net worth of the elite jumped by nearly $400,000 per person. For the bottom half of the global residents, the increase was just over $300. Of course. The latest snapshot of the economy brought good news, stronger growth and lower inflation. Bradley Blackburn has the story.
The economy picked up steam over the spring, with second quarter growth accelerating to a 2.8% annual pace.
It means that consumers were spending, businesses were restocking their inventories, and the reading really was stronger than economists thought.
With inflation easing toward the Federal Reserve's target 2%, consumer spending, the backbone of economic growth, was on the rise, even in the face of high interest rates.
And that spending was broad-based, with Americans investing in everything from cars and appliances to services like healthcare and utilities.
Economists say the GDP report, or gross domestic product, points to a soft landing, a scenario when inflation cools without tipping the economy into recession.
I think resilience would be the word of this economy.
Although cracks are beginning to show.
We are seeing that some lower income Americans are piling up credit card debt, and we're starting to see the job market slow down just a touch.
For now, the focus moves to the Federal Reserve and whether policymakers plan a rate cut at next Wednesday's meeting.
I think they want some more data, so I don't think they'll do anything next week.
President Biden said in a statement there's still work to be done, but that the GDP report shows the U.S. now has the strongest economy in the world. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Disney have joined forces to launch a cross-studio bundle to attract new customers to streaming. The deal offered by the entertainment giants offers consumers a bundle including Disney+, Hulu, and Max at a lower price. I like this. Officials with the companies say the gathering of these three services can be purchased by new and existing customers for $16.99 per month with ads. It's $29.99 to go ad-free. That's a big difference. Well, Southwest Airlines will soon have assigned seats for the first time in company history. It will also start charging for premium seats with more legroom. Southwest expects the change to broaden its appeal. The company says 80% of its customers and 86% of potential customers prefer assigned seating. Meanwhile, Southwest also announced it will start offering overnight red-eye flights for the first time. No details on when these changes will go into effect. Final check of the forecast is next.
Captioning.
Up next on the CBS Evening News, massive evacuations as hundreds of fires rage in the West. Why these fires are especially hard to combat. And then on KOAM News at 6, we'll have more on the sales tax question the city of Nevada is posing to voters. Plus, Oklahoma Superintendent of Schools issues new guidance for the upcoming school year, which requires the Bible be included in lesson plans. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Final check of the weather?
Yeah, it looks pretty good throughout the evening hours. We may have an isolated little thunderstorm, but most of you are looking pretty good. 91 tomorrow. Again, a random storm during the afternoon. A little better chance on Saturday. We'll have scattered thunderstorms, and that will keep our temperatures down just a bit. And then we accelerate upward through the 90s to near 100 by next week.
All right, enjoy this while it lasts. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. And we'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better tomorrow.